So, I haven't really like uploaded anything, recorded anything recently because of school reasons. School started back up. I'm busy as hell. Maths is absolutely dicking me down right now. Oh my god, they gave me like 20 hours of work to do, but anyway, that's besides the point. Um, I wanted to share my Uraume concept for a JJS character. I've made a Kashimo one as well, um, which is probably better, but I don't know, I just felt like doing the Uraume one because I feel like no one's really suggested Uraume before, and I think she could be really good as a character, could be interesting. So for the name, I'd probably have her as Frozen Star or maybe personal chef, like professional chef. I think that could be good. For her HP, I'd probably give her 85, because she'll be a bit more of a kind of elusive character, a bit similar to Megami and Yuji, with her having you know things to kind of alleviate her lower health. Like Yuji, what does he get to alleviate his lower health? He gets all his feints, which give him insane mobility, and he has very powerful true damage, right? Megami, he has low health, but he can really control his opponent well and do some crazy combos. So for her, the reason she'll have low health is because she has high damage, and her mechanic, her gimmick, is kind of like it's going to be kind of oppressive. Let me explain it though. So she'll be normal size, just thought I'd say that because Toto is technically larger than the average character. Her M1 trail would be probably white with a tinge of blue. For the M1 animations, I'd probably have like kind of Wing Chun style punches, And then moving on to her passive would be called Cold Hands. So after landing your fourth M1, you build up 2 Frostbite on your opponent. So the mechanic for this is kind of like, if you've ever played Elden Ring or like Dark Souls, if you hit someone with like a status, like it kind of pops up, if you're like playing PvP, like you get hit by a status, it like pops up a little bar, and then when the bar's full, the stats applies. That's how this will work. So Frostbite, like when you get hit by a move that gives you Frostbite, it will pop up a little blue bar on top of your head, that will stay there until it empties out, and it will go down by 1 every second, 1 point every second. If it hits 20, then it's applied to you, and you kind of have like an icy tinge shown over your whole body, like when you get hit with something that gives you Frostbite. Well, when you actually are fully applied with Frostbite, then you like fully freeze up into a statue, and then if Uraume clicks M1 on you, then she does an animation where she grabs your left shoulder with her left hand, and then hits a devious like right hook on your face, which smashes the ice statue, and you go flying away and taking 25 damage. And then ragdolling far away so you can't combo extend off that. And then the finisher would obviously turn them into like, little pieces of the statue. So that's when it gets to 20 points, right? So the bar is like a total of 20 points. So you're not going to get that much like Frostbite build off M1s, but it's just like a little add-on, to just up the Frostbite build up. So for her R, it's called Flash Freeze, which is going to be a counter. And don't worry, it's not going to be the most like basic counter that all the other Battleground games do, where it's like, oh, they get frozen and then you can combo extend. No, that's not how it works. Clicking R has you go into a pose with like both of your hands by your chest, ready to like catch an attack, like kind of the stance you'll see someone take when they're trying to catch a push kick in kickboxing. And then if you get hit with a melee move, if you get hit by a projectile move, unlucky, cry about it. If you get hit by a melee move, you catch their right hand, and you kind of like shoot an icy current through their body, and they kind of convulse, and then you punch them in the throat, and they get knocked away, so you can't combo after that. and that would do 10 damage with a 15-second cooldown, and would apply 10 frostbite. So that's like a kind of, if you can predict someone with that, then that's good, because you're halfway there to getting the frostbite. And I think this is probably something it go without. I just think this could be like interesting, but obviously could be way overtuned. To make it a bit more of an interesting counter instead of just it's basically supernova counter just for this character. It could be cool if pressing the counter could cancel the end lag of any of their moves. However, any end lag you cancel is added on top of the counter's end lag if you miss it. So if you do like a big move and then you try and counter to cancel the end lag, then you're just gonna like sit there like a dopey like asshole with your like dick in your hands for like 5 seconds. So I think that could be quite funny. So their first move, moving on quickly here, their first move is called Frozen Skewer, where they arm their right hand back in a major way, and then kind of create icicles on their fingers and stab into your chest, kind of like Dio from JoJo, like hitting a kind of donut, like stabbing through their stomach. And then you kind of pull your fingers out of their stomach, and then left palm to their chest, knocking them back, similar to how Shut Up knocks you away but doesn't ragdoll. But it would be knocking you back much further to the point where, you you can't front dash extend off it. And then this move would do 8 damage. It would break block. It would be counterable, and it would knock back with a 10-second cooldown. But it would be slow enough to start up that if you 3M1 into it, then it can be counterable. And I chose this like as a design choice because it shows how Uraume isn't the most capable character in close range. Like, she does have a close range move here, but it's not like the most capable. And I think it's interesting having a move that can be countered because you can kind of do mind games with that, like 3M1's doing the move but then turning away. If they counter, like this move would have very low end lag, so you can kind of bait people's counters with this. Or you can 4M1 uppercut into it, but then you have no source of true damage, So I think that's a little bit interesting of a move. And then you have 1+R, which is called Giant Icicle, which is, as it sounds, you just create a giant icicle above you, swing your arm, fling it forward, does 15 damage, applies 2 frostbite, uses your R cooldown as well, breaks block, counterable, ragdolls, 15-second cooldown. If you hold R, then you can kind of hold the icicle in the air for a bit and then release it later, kind of how Genos works in TSB. And if you hold it for up to 2 seconds, it will shoot 33% faster, and it does 20 damage now. The point of this move is to just be a good poke, like projectile, to kind of product your opponent. If they're on like the verge of just like about to proc frostbite, you could throw this out at them to hopefully get them frozen. But it doesn't hit grounded, so you can't like combo with this move. This is purely a neutral move that you can throw out. And then their second move is kind of a silly move because they did not do this shit in that show. But it's called Slip and Slide, inspired by Frozone, where basically you kind of crouch down and then create an ice path in front of you, and you kind of like skid slide forwards around like 1.5 times the range of a forward dash, and you just slide forwards. Anyone caught in your like path, because you can like turn it around, kind of gets caught in the end of your like boot, and then at the end you do like a kind of skid which like sprays ice everywhere and it, like knocks them into the air. So you can like hit multiple people with this for like area control if you're playing pubs as well. And it would do 6 damage, it will ragdoll up into the air, hits ground, and it's counterable. And it would have a 12-second cooldown. The point of this move is it's a gap closer that can launch up for a combo. But if someone rips it on you raw, if you're good at blocking and you can just turn around when they try and skid behind to hit your block, then the end lag of this move is disgusting. Like it's very ass. If you don't manage to actually hit them, then you're cooked. And then 2+R is loop-de-loop, where basically you do the kind of same things, crouch down to the skate, holy stuff, crouch down for a skate, and then you kind of skate forward, but kind of do like a sonic loop-de-loop as you kind of like grab their head, or like grab their opponent by the collar, and then you blast them super far into the air as you like jump off the loop-de-loop with like a puff of like ice or whatever. It will do 14 damage, apply 4 frostbite, break block, hit ground, and then ragdoll them up, and then they'd probably be in the air for like 2-3 seconds. Like it flings them really far. The point of this move is to kind of like, it's a good evasive beta, and it's a good combo finisher because it kind of sends them really far away. You can use 4 after this, which I'll explain in a bit. But yeah, it's like a good evasive bait, good move to combo on the ground. Then third move is Icefall. You raise your right hand above, and then slam your hand into the ground, and then a large pillar, like chunk of ice falls down on the location of the target, crushing them into the ground. I think for a finisher it can be funny if it's like the kind of Tom and Jerry like outline of like where they were. I think that could be kind of funny. So do 20 damage, break block, uncounterable, hits ground, and it ragdolls them, but you know, it doesn't move them, it just like crushes them to the ground. It'd have a 20-second cooldown. And the point of this move is like, it's usable in neutral, however, it kind of has a long startup, like a relatively long startup. But it also predicts where you're going. So if you're like, you know, moving left, and then you do like a front dash left, if you don't time it right, it's going to crush you. You have to actually wait for it to like fall on you. So I'm thinking like maybe a shadow will appear, and then that's your kind of cue to like dodge out of the way. But the thing is, the max range of this move, you can't do it from too far. The max range of it is just within front dash range. So if you use this in neutral, you're always at the risk of they can just front dash in on me. But that's why it has its variant called Bursting Pipes, where basically you do the same animation, but when you slam your hand into the ground, there's a small little delay, and then 5 geysers of like freezing water burst up and carry opponents upwards, like on the geyser, kind of like bouncing up a bit and then falling down. It does 12 damage, applies 8 frostbite, and it's kind of like an AoE as well, so it can deal like with multiple people if you're getting teamed on. And then have a 22-second cooldown, ragdolls upwards, hits ground, uncounterable. So the kind of point of it is like, if you use Icefall in neutral, right, and then they go to punish you, they go to front dash in, it's like, okay, you know that. So then next time, you can mix them up, do 3+R, and then they'll get hit with Bursting Pipes for a really big combo punish with lots of frostbite buildup as well. But it does have a hefty cooldown, so you're not going to be able to do it all the time. And it's too slow to actually be used in any combos, so you can't just pick this variant as like your combo piece. Like you have to use Icefall in the combos. And then finally, you have Frost Calm, which hopefully you guys know what that is. You kind of put your left hand out, create a spiral of ice, and kind of like blow forward an icy wind continuously for 3 seconds, dealing damage, but it doesn't like ragdoll them away. So yeah, 30 damage overall, so 10 damage every 1 second. Applies 12 frostbite, breaks block, hits ground, 30-second cooldown, so big hefty cooldown. It might be, maybe it's a little too harsh, but it is a good ass move. Like it is practically an ult move. It's like a mini plasma wave. But I like the idea of having a really powerful 4th move. That's why I like Mahito, because his body repel feels powerful. And if you use it in neutral, it's kind of like, you know, if someone's using Hollowed Purple on you, you kind of just have to like hope you get lucky and just like dodge and just guess which way they're going to fire it. But obviously, you can't be doing that too much because 30-second cooldown. And like, yes, if you hit it, great. 30 damage, 12 frostbite. But it takes a while to come out. You got no iframes. And if you hit it, it's like, great, but, you know, You still got to go in and get that combo. You should have just been trying to combo them from the start and use this as your ender. So, with all these different moves and stuff, how is this character going to actually play, right? So how I envision this character playing is sort of like, you know, you have to really read how your opponent plays and what they're doing. You know, testing them with what they kind of get baited by. So I'd imagine, you know, you kind of use Icefall and neutral, or like, you know, use Bursting Pipes first if you want to be like safe. Kind of just seeing, oh, what are they going to do? You can use Frost Calm and neutral if you want as well. But it's kind of like seeing, oh, what is my opponent going to do? And then it's about keeping up your pressure, like keeping up your pressure with your Frostbite. And it deteriorates 1 point a second. So yes, you have like what 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 ranged moves and a gap closer, which could sound annoying, right? Like, okay, Mega Me 2.0. But if you hit these moves, like, and you don't follow up with them, then the Frostbite just goes to waste because it will just deteriorate. Also, something I forgot to mention: if you're dealing damage to someone, the Frostbite bar doesn't go down; like it just stays at where it is if you're dealing damage to them. So, sort of envision combos I have would be a front dash, 3-on-1s. Then you do Frozen Skewer, but you know it can be countered. Then you follow up with Slip and Slide when they're knocked back. That pops them in the air. While they're in the air, you use Icefall, and the Icefall will kind of crunch them down into the ground. Icefall leaves them ragdolled for a while, so you can then do Frost Calm set up. That does around 80 damage. Sorry, 76 damage, 79 if you uppercut into it, and it does 12 Frostbite, 14 if you uppercut into it. So that's the kind of like bread and butter combo, but it is counterable if you're fighting like a Yuji or Hakari or whatever. You can uppercut into it, obviously, but you know I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, it seems like JJS players are getting slightly more intelligent. Yeah, you get the kind of idea. You can go front dash, 4-on-1s down slam, and then go for Icefall. And then if you read them here, you get Bursting Pipes. Then you've done 10 Frostbite already, 2 from the passive and 8 from Bursting Pipes. Then as they fall down, Frozen Skewer, Slip and Slide, Frost Calm, that's 22 Frostbite, which makes them frozen. So with this combo, if you manage to predict them and hit the Bursting Pipes in the combo after they waste their evasive, trying to counter you, trying to like reverse you, then it's a 96 damage combo, which is quite crazy. That's why I said she should have 85 health. You know, so I think that could be a little ridiculous. Maybe her damage use toning down. However, I think her cooldowns are so high that you have to properly play with your cooldowns, and you can't just kind of wing stuff. Like, you can't just go, oh, I'm going to throw out Frost Calm for no reason, or, you know, you can't really throw out Icefall in neutral, like, all the time. You can do it, like, once a match or so, just, you know, to, like, fake out your opponent. Then their guard isn't up. You can just throw it at them. But, yeah, that's my Uraume concept. I'm pretty happy with it. Maybe I'll make her, like, an ult if anyone actually cares. I do actually have ideas for it, which is crazy. A lot, literally everything is going to be, like, homemade, because we never get to see Uraume fight Hakari, which sucks. But anyway, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the character. Do you think they're meta? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're a bit underpowered? Do you think they're shit? Obviously, we'll never know if they, unless Z literally sees this video and he loves me and he glazes me. But, you know, like, conceptually, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm going too crazy on the bouncing? Do you think I made her too underpowered? I don't think that's the case. But anyway, I will see you guys. So if I don't see you, good morning, good evening, and good night.